To just start off letting everybody know what's going to happen, and then there will be Lee Jasper, who I'm sure you all know, who's the chair. Then John Coles will give a operational overview. He's the Detective Chief Superintendent for Trident. That in total will probably take 10 to 15 minutes, and then I think Chris will coordinate, and then I think you've already been told one-to-ones if you're interested afterwards. So, as some of you on the 18th organised, very importantly, really excited about taking on the role. It's very challenging, it will be very interesting, and as my Assistant Commissioner pointed out to me yesterday, it is a success story. I will be working with some extraordinarily committed and talented people, of course, in our advice today to launch our new poster campaign, which is being targeted Haringey, Lambeth and Southwark. You'll hear from John in a moment about some of the successes of Operation Trident. But it is sobering to think that to date this year in Trident shootings, only on the individual loved ones and on communities. The purpose of the campaign is to emphasise the impact on the lives of normal, everyday people in London and on the lives of all, that we can all do something positive to reduce gun crime and its impact on our black communities. The gunmen, they are prejudiced, they rip families apart. Very successful, particularly because people have been coming forward with information, with intelligence, with evidence. People have been prepared to come to court. Particularly appeal to partners, to girlfriends, to come forward with information to prevent a murder or a shooting. And you can do that either by contacting Operation Trident direct or by ringing Crime 5 treble one to Lee Jasper, who is going to talk about Trident and gun crime in black communities, particularly.
In terms of the relationship between the Trident team and the black communities of London, and I think that's testimony in two very important ways. Willing to come forward and put a wall of silence has now been completely demolished. And what we're seeing is a new trust and improved ability of the police service to locate, capture, arrest and prosecute. And that this puts within our community cannot be underestimated. We have a burgeoning news abated. It will affect the economy of those areas. If you look in local areas such as Brixton and Haringey and Hackney and Brent and the boroughs mentioned, wherever there is gun crime, people stay away from those town centre areas. Depression and the fear that it places within our own communities, where mothers are concerned about their children playing out on London streets, teenagers are concerned about going to certain dances and raves, and a general level of anxiety within the community that is Operation Trident, who's reflected that concern and gone about prioritising this particular issue. These crimes rip apart, seeking to reinforce it today, but it also has the potential to rip apart communities where there are cancerous existence of their communities in the ways that to appeal to the fact the non-action on this matter is one which will inevitably lead to the kind of tragedy that has been outlined. So we've done a great deal of success. We've got more work to do to get on top of the problem, and two important aspects of that. That the majority of these weapons are used on Trident cases is indicative of the ease at which you can go to a specialised sports shop, buy a pistol that is capable of conversion within half an hour. That's an important message that I think we need to encourage government to hear in relation to their considerations to welcome the additional 5-year mandatory sentence for possession. I think the other important element is confiscated assets. These drug economy, millions of pounds, new department, but they have again been remarkably successful at confiscating those assets, the Mayor, both on replica weapons and confiscated assets, is that these confiscated assets should be returned to the community and become empowered to have partnerships with the local police services. Like I am despite what I've witnessed in the 6 years since I've been involved in Operation Trident, is I've stood up to this issue, have rejected the men of violence in their communities and applauded and welcomed out. So working in partnership with them of making London one of the safest cities in the world.
Thank you, Lee. Taking on from what Lee said there, the purpose of me appearing here this morning is to give you some of the basic facts and figures around the successes of Trident, particularly this year. Hot summer, it's June, that is a significant achievement for London, because if you went back 2 years or so, I'm sure there would have been half a dozen in the period of the last few months. In murders in London, we have a 38%, 12% decrease on, not only for the police, it is very much as a result of that cooperation between us and the black community. We are currently running at an 80% clear-up rate for our murders. If you went back 2 years, we were running at 25%. That has been achieved because members have been prepared to tell us information, and more importantly, been prepared to actually stand in the witness box and give evidence. And that's what's led to the conviction. On top of that, my guns that Lee has spoken, apart from investigate, we are very much trying to get on the front foot and get into the suppliers of the converted and shoot someone, weapons of that type. And we continue to conduct operations against those who take imitation weapons and try and convert them. So it is a success story, but also come forward and help us in trying to achieve what we've achieved. Thank you.
For any questions and answers that you may have, if you could indicate your name and you represent, raise your hand if you have any questions that you would like to pose.
We'll telegraph. One for you, I think, John. Can you give any idea of the scale of witness protection and what help is being given to witnesses in this case?
When you talk about witness protection, I think the greatest advantage protection, if you go back a few years, witness protection was pick someone up, move them 20 miles down the road and take into family. We are the needs, some community members who are close to that particular family and effectively alarming their houses forward. I think it's also important that we've seen that community families do act, neighbours next door or in that street are looking after them, and that if the gunman, because there is the confidence in that street, then that greatly improves our ability to succeed some of the specifics for obvious reasons.
Neil Bennett from BBC. What do you think has made the biggest difference in people's greater preparedness to come forward and give evidence?
Do you leave an answer that, or?
I think what we've, from my advice, just cannot be underestimated. I think that the McPherson report actually created the space in which the dialogue can begin. And once that dialogue did begin, and I think that was a service for the Afro-Caribbean community, who now become much more acutely aware, much more acutely concerned as a consequence of that awareness of the need for partnership for taking these issues. I think the bullet has been bitten, if I can use it in that sense, that on this issue we have a common enemy, and that is the armed criminals that operate within our community. But I do think the trust and confidence that has been injected in that watershed moment when this partnership was really born.
If you go back once, other than that, there was no, then they gained more confidence and it started to build, and this snowball is now really building into a massive amount of confidence amongst black people.
I think Sophie Lewis is a good example, but who had a boyfriend who was involved, who was shot, not just once, but on a number of occasions, whose family were kidnapped and gave evidence in spite of some of them as horrendous murder, and still a real not known. She many members of the Afro-Caribbean community. An example to us all, I think.
Another question?
Isaac Shah from NBC Village. Is there an intention to extend the operation?
Crime clearly affects lots of different communities, all communities in one way or another in London, to gun crime. And my new role has responsibility for all serious gun crime. And one of the sort of first priorities for me of our operations approach it's early days and we've made no decisions about that at the moment. But I think on black communities is hugely disproportionate. If you look at the number of suspects who appear, and one needs to be careful about that, but appear to be black using guns, and equally, more importantly, the number of victims who are black, it's hugely disproportionate in black communities.
How many and how does this compare over the last couple of years to the increase in decreases?
We had this question before. I'm not going to go into the details and numbers of nominals as such. I think that would lead to some
Let's
confusion.
go back a few more years other than 2001, 2002, 2003 for the annual murder figures. We're talking about the 6 years since McPherson. How do those 24, 22, 11 so far this year? I mean, are the numbers of murders going down year on year?
Yes, the number of murders are going down.
I think we've demonstrably turned the corner. And we saw a growth in the 96 to 99 period, and that's really when Trident was born. From that period, we have then seen a little pause where we've consolidated, and then a year-on-year decrease, rated that it has made an impact.
And what was the
The split is roughly 30% Jamaican origin in one form or another voice.
The temptation, a terrorist threat to London, it can be very tempting, but actually seems to be becoming more homegrown as time goes on.
Has that changed though over the years you've been doing Trident?
Well, certainly in the time I've been doing it, we've moved away from perhaps 40% a year or so ago to 30% now. I think what Lee says is absolutely right, and hopefully as time goes on we become more successful. I don't think there's a simple answer, is there? Which probably would take longer than this press conference to explain.
And it's perhaps hard for some of us to imagine being in that position, but many close family members are in which their loved one has found themselves. And for many people to intervene, including by giving information to the police, in terms of preventing being murdered.
In the economy of extreme violence, the black community, family members with guns, do they want to visit them in prison, or do they want to visit them at their graveside?
How many family members did you have informing on?
It's cute, that one, isn't it? That's not the right question.
Not just in Trident, it is not an unusual phenomenon. Well, which is that on occasion, some of our offenders are very violent offenders in the home as well.
Well, at the end of last year, there was a Home Office conference on the problems of black-on-black crime in London. Despite appeals by John Stevens and other senior officers to get local vulnerable witnesses, there was almost total silence and failure. Have the situation improved at all?
Certainly there's a lot of discussion at national level around the witness protection programmes UK-wide, and there is currently a review being undertaken, particularly in London, on changes in that attitude.
Any boroughs of party could take some
Programme to the whole witness protection system throughout the United Kingdom, and I think really we have to wait till the outcome of that.
There is a vulnerable witnesses in November of this. It will be as a result of the lack of cooperation between boroughs, somewhat resolved by these announcements.
Andrew McCafferty, Peace in the Streets. I just want to know about your comments on the fact that you're saying replica guns are going to be banned. Is the boycotts banned, or is it still legal to buy a boycott in High Street?
So in relation to what I said earlier, there is current legislation going through the Houses of Parliament, I think, and also the import, sale and manufacture. That's at odds with the government position that has a slightly modified view. Not far behind that, but not quite offering the complete ban, and we're talking to government at the moment to see if we can get them to appreciate just how much devastation replica weapons do.
So certainly the United Kingdom within the legislation, and the legislation allows for other weapons if it can be proved that they are capable of conversion to subsequently banned.
Right, okay. Can you tell me if the boycott is already banned just now? That's what I want to know.
It's not banned now.
Any further questions? If you do have a wish to have one-to-one sessions with any of the other members who have attended, the AG members are down here, if you could make that.
In London, patients, you'll dump the guns. It's not cool to carry a gun. That's the message we're sending to your family.
Perfect.
This is Lee Jasper, chair of the Independent Advisory Group for Trident and policing advisor to Scotland Yard, policing advisor to the Mayor Livingston, Ken Livingston of London. Feel like on Friday it's got the law-abiding community are coming together in increasing numbers in order to say to the men of violence, we are not tolerating your presence in our communities any further. That has got to be a message that everybody can support. It benefits you, me, your children, my children. So it's a real important message that we need to get out. So I hope that it will be an overwhelming success. I'll be there. I hope you'll be there. And many congratulations to Peace on the Streets. Okay?
Yeah.
And Mike here.
Sorry.
Now listen, yeah. The next track we're gonna do. You wanna join in? Damien Dash is off for you. Big Mum, please. We need all the support. This was about the torture and fight. I want to say to you.
Trust guns or knives isn't cool. There is a choice. You don't junction with the police, police stations and so on for good school attendance records. We're trying to change, we'll turn around the culture. If it isn't cool to carry a kind of statue, will help get.
Every time people, it's that little jolt which hopefully will persuade people. Persuade kids growing up with guns is bad news. Persuade teenagers that using them could result in them, so that it could be their son, their daughter, their sister, their brother, their boyfriend, their girlfriend. Ways other than violence. And in a place where we've had too much, you can't remind them too much either.
Okay, I'm Caroline Pigeon, Deputy Leader of Southwark Council, and I think a statue such as the one with the gun ties sends a really powerful message to the whole community that we don't accept gun crime in this borough, and people should try and learn and tell others they shouldn't. A statue such as this where the gun is, and to the whole community that this borough doesn't accept gun crime as a day-to-day part of living.
The Not Again statue was created in memory of John Lennon by a Swedish artist called Carl Fredrik Reutersvast. The statue was originally created in the barrel. In 1988, the same statue was placed outside the United Nations headquarters. As in 1993, the Non-Violence Project, a Swedish charity, started using the knotted gun symbol as its symbol. To date, the Non-Violence Statues Foundation has placed in the International Olympic and Miami. The objective of this placement is to create a community focus. We're hoping that communities and local groups will rally around the symbol and create awareness for an end to gun violence and non-violence as a whole. Thank you. $1,000. It's 3 size.
Yes.
One in the UK, at the moment. We're hoping to get a permanent placement for it by September. Because internationally, it will be.
Would you look to an American or London or Manchester that has high gun crime?
Very definitely.
Or would you look at Iran?
Because we want to infiltration, so we're sort of...
And I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
It's not only a very small player, but I mean, I think it leaves some really good debate points. Obviously,
it'll be very interesting to see what comes after this week. And
the difficulty is measuring it.
If, for example, hypothetically, Lambeth don't come back and say they want to take it, I mean, if you want to leave, I'll definitely be back by the 28th.
I'd like to talk to Susan about it. Very difficult. I think just that bring it up to the front of the market. Stimulate people with a good debating tool, and it'll just make people walk past and think, but not it's on obviously community. Yes, violence.
Dave!
I know, relax, dude. This seems like a good. You can actually.
What's he doing? We does actually. I found it this morning.
Last quarter, our figures showed the sharpest reduction in London.
And we got some more. Where's the rest, everybody? Come and bring them on. I wanted to make them feel.
I'm gonna call you now. Hello, Burgess Park.
Pardon? She's a festival babe. So when she says hello, shout back, hello babe, yeah? I like it.
Hello, Burgess Park.
I forget to say hello to Lauren. So hold on, don't get extra easy. Ready?
Hello.
Good. This is getting better. A little feature. Who's number one?
Superintendent's children, because they're our guests for the day. They are our star guests. They're the voice of the voice of the streets. Let's have it for the children.
Ladies and gents, as Decimus as the Peace on the Streets award to these young people.
Let's have it.
Can everybody link hands? Link hands. Link hands. Link hands for Peabody. And close your eyes and listen to the music.
We've just got one more award in this part of the concert. To everyone that's got Decimus Francis, so can ever.
Right, give me attention now. I want well, I want you to do it again. Right, now I want you and listen, CD man. Number one, come here. Number one. Number one, come number one. Who's number one? This is number one.
People endlessly. Come on to my... Yes, for freedom. So that's freedom first. Freedom. Give thanks to Lucy Cope and all the posse. Next one.
Okay, it's me and Laura, and the words say, and if I say to myself, what?
And I say to myself, what's good on
Yeah, done. Okay?
As I watch the pain and suffering go on.
Yeah.
No, God, come on now. I'm not feeling it.
Number 4.
So let's reach out our hand to our fellow men and we can all live as one.
No, you have to say that again, because that was the one. You say that again, brother.
Men, and we can...
Right! Respect! Okay, Maxine, baby. This is your turn, baby.
Because... Me!
Yes, we can find, but they can see and set them free.
Ordinary people, you can set them free!
I want you to leave it back. I want once they're blind, but they can see the message just as clear as us too. And I want you to give them back the love that they brought us tonight. So we're going to give the stage to them. And please just put your hands together, because it's peace and they're done. Yeah!
She works in Harrow, and I said that I personally would think it's a good idea to ban guns because anybody could take and shoot themselves. You know, it's really evil.
Yeah.
Especially if it causes death. Should go to prison and serve their time. Whether they give them 5-10 years, that's entirely their crime fit the gun. Well, I wouldn't say.
Right, okay. No guns anywhere on the street. Guns are inherently dangerous. The fewer there are on the street, the better. Do I hope this doesn't happen again? Of course I do. As a person, it's just.
The editor. Willesden Chronicle. With regards to the amnesty, amnesties are all very well as long as the right people are handing in the guns. From the incidents that have happened this week alone, where we've had 2 fatalities, our first 2 fatalities in 18 months, in the very week when the amnesty is due to start, probably proves that the people that are going to hand in the guns are the petty criminals rather than the ones leaning on what the results are going to be at the end of the month. And it'll be interesting to see what the figures are when they come back from the police.
I'm the Mayor of Camden, and in Camden we have a low gun crime rate, and we believe that of educating them about what crime does. Pull the trigger, that's a real mistake, a very deadly weapon, and young people who have the authorization can use them, but only for good causes, to protect, because guns are very bad.
Band of Mothers Against Guns in the UK. After being to the community affair at Kilburn, my feelings, an excellent band, great dancers, a great atmosphere, a great feel about them. I took to them straight away on Africa in this concert. Great band. Hey, can I ask you in which part of Africa or which other part of the country you're from?
Yeah, we're from Congo.
Okay, what part of Africa is that?
The Central Africa.
Okay, and the concert that I am holding is a global peace concert. It's a very big venue, and you'll be representing your country in London here.
Good opportunity for us, to promote, meet you, repertoire, to promote.
The band was excellent. the best feel. You had the crowd going. It's quite excellent. I think it's very good. I look forward to seeing you on the 5th. It's also in Burgess. You represent Africa in New York. Great guys.
That'd be brilliant.
It's a pleasure. And
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, once there is a lot of the young people can go. We have about 40 to 50 each of the week. I was by half of probably over the last 5 years. So, you know, I mean, if young people haven't very much to do, they are going to be hanging around in the streets. And I think once they've gone, there's a big status want, you know.
Ôi bà lão á nữa.